Hey everyone, I wanted to do an unconventional type of movie review right off the cuff. The film I want to be reviewing right now for you is The Trial of the Chicago 7, which just premiered on Netflix, written and directed by Aaron Sorkin. For those familiar with Aaron Sorkin, he is the creator and writer for The West Wing, Molly's Game, Newsroom, among many other credits. I wasn't planning on reviewing this film. I was planning on seeing it, but I wasn't planning on reviewing it. I feel compelled to review this film and recommend this film. And so here I am right off the cuff in my own kitchen, just filming this review for you. And the reason why I want to talk about this film is, well, number one, is based on a true story about 7 individuals who are standing trial for and being accused of starting the riots formed at the 1968 Democratic National Convention in Chicago. And this is a true story that I knew absolutely nothing about. I didn't know anything about this going into this movie. So one, that's like the first offense. And I've heard from others and seen other critics mention that they knew nothing about this. And I feel like there aren't very many people that do, which is very, very tragic in and of itself. This movie is all about the court proceedings and rulings and deciding whether or not these 7 individuals are guilty of starting this riot. Obviously brought to mind what we're dealing with this year in 2020 with racial injustice and the Black Lives Matter movement against police brutality and all of the marches and protests. We are living in a time where protests are happening at such a huge national, if not international level. This film is the best movie I've seen all year in 2020, right off the bat. Aaron Sorkin is a master filmmaker, a master writer and director. If you're familiar with his work, you know that all of his work, much like this film, is incredibly tight. The dialogue is quick. The dialogue is sharp. It is intelligent. It is clever, but it also has moments of humor that actually made me laugh unexpectedly. But seeing what these 7, there are actually 8 individuals, but seeing what they are going through and seeing the unmistakable corruption happening in the judiciary system, all the way from the judge himself, played by Franklin Jella, who has officially become one of my most hated cinematic antagonists I've ever seen. He did a brilliant acting job. The best I've seen him in any acting role, quite frankly. It shows all of the different layers in the defense of these men and disproving that they started the riot, that it was in fact the police. This film did an impeccable job at telling this very true and powerful story, showing the corruptedness within politics, within the judicial system. One of the characters said so pointedly and so powerfully that this is a political trial. This is a political court case. And someone said, like, there are no political trials. This was a political trial. And it brought me to tears. I was bawling my fucking eyes out at the end of this movie, and I'm watching it here at home. It's on Netflix. I literally stood up and clapped as if I saw this as a live show or even in a live theater with a standing ovation. Aaron Sorkin presented such a deep, real, sharp, untainted presentation and true story, showcasing it in such a relatable way that draws into what we are dealing with now in this day and age. And the performances alone, you have Eddie Redmayne, you have Sacha Baron Cohen, Yahya Abdul-Mateen, this is my favorite I've ever seen of Yahya Abdul-Mateen personally. He is even in one of the most gut-wrenching courtroom scenes I've ever seen. I felt uncomfortable. I felt angry, and I could not believe my eyes what I was seeing. Now, this movie isn't a downer by any means. I don't consider it to be a downer. I think it does pull back the curtain to address incredibly dire, serious situations, relatable situations that are even happening here and now. But this movie was not a slog. It was not hard to get through. It was not hard to sit through. This movie is just over 2 hours and it flies by. The editing is so incredibly meticulous. It is quick. Just like all Aaron Sorkin projects tend to be, they are very, very tightly knit together with so much intention and so much care. Every single person did an impeccable job within their acting performance. This film needs to be seen by the masses. This isn't me speaking only for one side of the argument. I feel like this film presents a true story. This is a true story, not manipulated to boast its own agenda. It is a true story of what happened to these individuals in these court hearings that lasted over 6 months. We are at the day and age where we should be in a country that believes in justice, that believes in honesty, that believes in liberty, that is not corrupt, that is not trying to pull people apart. And I think it is a film that can preach a very powerful message to everybody. I don't think it's here to just appease one side over the other. It's here to tell a true story of what actually happened, a story that not many people know, and tell it in the most poignant, effective way it possibly can, and I think it does just that. At least something can get through to pull back the layers as to why protesting does exist, why the power of peaceful protests exists, and what it can bring, and the message behind it, and the reason behind it, and the real power behind it, and the love behind it. The Trial of the Chicago 7 is the best film I've seen all year. It is one of the best pieces of work I've ever seen done by Aaron Sorkin, who put his heart and soul into it. It is very, very watchable, but very, very powerful. It left me in tears. It left me clapping my hands in celebration that this film was made and presented, and it needs to be seen by the masses. I give The Trial of the Chicago 7 an A. Thank you for sitting through me rambling a little bit during this off-the-cuff review. Please go watch The Trial of the Chicago 7 on Netflix. As always, thank you all again for tuning in. And until next time, I'm Boehme signing off. Bye, everyone.